Today we're going to take a look at trim and how I make adjustments to it at every stage of flight. Come along. Alright, well, as we mentioned, today's video is all about trim and kind of the different ways to think about trim and the way I think about it in terms of it being a speed control more than it is an altitude control. And I'll show you what we mean. I'm also going to show you why I adjust pitch trim in every single stage of flight and every time I make a configuration change, be it power or flaps. Trim is changed very, very shortly thereafter. And I'll show you all that as we get up here and get going. This video was requested by a couple of patrons at my Patreon page at patreon.com/midlifepilot. People wanted to see a little more information on trim. So today we're going to do a real short flight to Clarksburg. Fairmont traffic, Skyhawk 3852 Lima is taking runway 23. Going to be making a straight out departure southwest bound, Fairmont. All right, approach end looks clear. Don't see anybody on the runway. Go ahead and get flipped around here. What is oh, that's just an arrow. It looked like a big pile of something on the runway. All right, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, let's go mixture rich. Nice and slowly. We'll take about 4 seconds to bring this power all the way in. Power looks okay, doesn't it?
Yep.
Engine instruments look okay. Let's come off the brakes and go fly. Airspeed's coming alive. There's 40. There's 50. Here comes 60. Let's go ahead and pull back easily on the yoke. Apply right rudder. And accelerate to VX till we clear this hillside. Already trimming. There's VX. Engine's in the green. And we'll let it accelerate slowly to VY, and I'll trim for that, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So I'm adjusting my pitch trim as I get my airspeed to 80. I want my airspeed to stay at 80.
And the trim, if you want the nose to go forward, you go
push forward.
and
Correct.
back.
That's correct. So I've now pitched it. I'm staying at 80, but here's what's interesting about trim. People get the misconception if I pitch this forward, if I pull power out, we're gonna slow down now, but we're not. When we're trimmed for 80, if I bring this back even just 100 RPM, what's going to happen here is the nose is going to go forward. We're going to climb less fast, but we're going to remain at 80. We've trimmed the airplane for an airspeed. So throttle is controlling our altitude or our climb, and the way we've trimmed the airplane with the pitch trim is what's mandating our airspeed. Okay, so the plane will find itself at the airspeed you've trimmed it for. Let's make a call. Fairmont traffic, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, off runway 23, making a slight left-hand turn out. We're going direct to Clarksburg, Fairmont. All right, so let's make our little left-hand turn and we'll give Clarksburg a call. We'll kind of go direct to Clarksburg Airport. We'll climb to 2,500 feet, and then we'll do some trimming at cruise altitude, and I'll show you how it works there as well. Let's see, we're about, how far are we here? 7 miles north. Clarksburg Tower, Skyhawk 3852 Lima, 7 miles north. Information, India, inbound for the option.
Skyhawk 3852 Lima, Clarksburg Tower, make approach straight in, runway 21, cleared option.
Alright, we'll come straight in for runway 21, clear for the option, 52 Lima. Alright, so we're going to get up here to 2,500 feet, and we're going to level off, and I'm going to show you how I will do this if I was normally flying somewhere and I was going to, so I would level off first. I'd push the nose over with the yoke to level us off at 2,500. Then I would pull the power back because now we're accelerating I'd pull it back to like a cruise power setting. Let's go like 2250 just for this experiment. Then you got to trim a little bit because we've sped up now. I got to push the nose forward. And so now we're trimmed for roughly 95 miles an hour, let's say. 95-ish. Alright. So there's Clarksburg. So we're 2,500 feet. Now if I wanted to descend here, I wouldn't trim forward. I would pull a little power out. What you'll see when we get up here and start our descent is when I pull power out, we're going to maintain this 95 to 100 miles an hour just by adjusting power. That'll control our descent. All right, approach end of 2-1 looks clear.
I was not expecting Clarksburg to be right there. You were like, there's Clarksburg, and I looked and I was like, oh my gosh.
All right, a descent checklist will be mixture adjust, power as desired, carb heat is required. And before landing, seats and seat belts, fuel selectors on both. Carb heat will come on in just a minute. Airspeed, flaps as desired. All right, so as you can see, we're still about 100 miles an hour, level flight. And I think I'd like to start a descent now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring carb heat in, which is by itself going to reduce the RPM a little bit. And what's going to happen here is the nose is naturally going to come over. But I'm not doing anything on the yoke. We're starting a descent now, but what you'll notice is, because I've trimmed the airplane for 100 miles an hour, it's still 100 miles an hour, and all I changed was the throttle. So I'm using the throttle to control altitude, and the pitch trim basically is controlling airspeed at this point. It's kind of nifty. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get set up. We'll make a normal touch and go here. So we want to be lined up on the center line. You can see to the left of the runway, this has a VASI. You can see 2 white and 2 red lights right now of the 4 lights. That means we're on glide slope. But we're way too fast. So now would be a good time for us to start getting set up for landing. So what we would do in this case, I'm going to pull some power back. I'm going to get inside the white arc, which we are, and I'm going to bring in 10 degrees of wing flaps. Now, I've made a configuration change. So there's going to be a pitch change associated with it. We want to fly this part of the traffic pattern at like 90 miles an hour. So I'm going to trim for that. Kind of like this. We're in a nice descent here. Maybe a little more power. Let's go ahead and get slowing down. Let's get our second notch of flaps in. Here's 20 degrees. Let's think about slowing down to, let's say, 80. All right. So I just added a little bit of nose up trim because we're a little fast. I'm trying to get it set up here for 80. Then we're going to use power all the way in to control our descent rate, not pitch. We need to be pitching to maintain an airspeed that we want and using power to control our altitude. They call this reverse command, meaning you're using pitch to control your speed and power to control your altitude, which feels weird to do. On short final here, we're going to want to be, 70 miles an hour or so. Once we're sure we've got the runway made, we'll bring in our third notch of flaps. And we'll make a normal landing. We'll try to touch down on those white 1,000-foot squares. These are super fun to fly like this when the weather is like this, when it's not bumpy and it's super smooth. All of this gets a little. Now see, we're getting a little high, so I'm going to pull out just a touch of power. I'm going to go ahead and put in 30 degrees so we can start slowing down here to 70. To do that, I'm going to again pitch and use pitch trim to help maintain this 70. And then we'll use power from here on in to control our slope. Now I think we're going to end up coming in just a little low here. So I'm going to add a little power. See us dipping down? We add it doesn't take much. See how much that changed it? Just that much power?
Yeah.
Doesn't take much. We're still a little low, so we'll add a little more power. So I'm just maintaining this 70 all the way through here. And once we're over the numbers and we know we've got the runway made, we'll start even reducing the power further.
And you don't it.
That's right, so we don't float all the way down. So heels are on the floor at this point. Power, I'm going to go ahead and bring power slowly, reduce the power, and start pitching up. So now I'm letting ourselves slow down here as we get into ground effect. I'm going to keep pitching. Oops, I'm going to keep pitching. See me pitching? Just keep pulling back. And just like that, we're on the ground. And we'll clean up here real easy. Verify with our eyeballs that flaps are coming up, and they are. Carb heat is in. And we got to be ready for right rudder here, because as soon as we add this power, feel the nose want to go left from that torque. And we also have to pay attention to our trim, because we've trimmed so far up, we have to keep the nose down, because it's going to want to fly away on us. So that is how I use trim in all stages of flight, and continually adjusting that trim based on the configuration of the airplane. Hope you found that helpful in terms of how you can use trim. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comments. And thanks for watching.